Hi, everyone. Welcome to Gentle Flow Yin and Restorative Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. Please make sure you have as many props available as possible, like a couple of yoga blocks, pillow or several pillows and a blanket, and a strap just in case. Today, let's begin lying on our backs with our knees bent, separating our feet wider than hips distance, and then just letting your knees drop together so that they touch. Placing your left hand on the center of your chest, let your right hand rest just below your belly button as you soften your shoulder heads down into the earth and away from your neck. And if you feel comfortable, close your eyes, allow a moment to be still, to arrive and tune in. So yesterday we began our 16 deeper review of the 8 limbs of yoga. And this week we are focusing on the first of 5 components within the first limb, the yamas, or the ethical behaviors. And the first is ahimsa, which we defined as non-harm or non-violence. I wanted to go a little deeper into the definition of ahimsa as provided by Art of Living. So ahimsa, the first and foremost of the 5 yamas, or restraint, of the great sage Patanjali's 8-fold path, as described in the Yoga Sutras, enables us to live in such a way that we cause no harm in thought, speech, or action to any living being, including ourselves. In its purest form, ahimsa is the spontaneous expression of the highest form of love, universal love, kindness, compassion, and forgiveness, an unconditional sense of belonging to everyone and everything. This morning, here's a wonderful quote that struck me by spiritual teacher Marianne Williamson. Love is what we are born with. Fear is what we learn. The spiritual journey is the unlearning of fear and prejudices and the acceptance of love back in our hearts. Love is the essential reality and our purpose on earth. A miracle is a shift in perception from fear to love. So how does fear play a part in limiting our ability to allow ourselves to be an open conduit of divine love? How does fear, perhaps, when struck by stress, and our nervous system's response is either to freeze, collapse, take flight, or fight? Sometimes fear can create delusions in our perception, which plant the thought seeds of perceiving another as the enemy, as someone to defend or fight against, or defend ourselves of or fight against. So here are 3 questions that you might ask within yourself as we begin this practice today. 1 is for developing awareness. What fears might you have that limit your ability to love yourself or others? 2 is about developing compassion. How can you be kind to yourself in addressing your fears? And 3 is about the commitment to transform. And it's using the yogic principle of Pratipaksha Bhavanam, which is when a negative thought arises, you think of the opposite. But we know that this is a process. So the 3rd question is, what is the opposite of that fear-based belief? that might be limiting love flow within you, and that guides you back to love, back to open-heartedness. I'll ask these again when we begin our meditation, but for now, let's see if we can let these questions settle in within us. Allow space as we open up our bodies, our breaths, our minds, and most importantly, our hearts. So as you lie here now, deepening your breath, invite your inhalation to expand into your belly and through the four walls of your rib cage, letting your chest softly rise. And then make a sound, sigh it out, open your mouth and let it go. Again, full inhalation, deep into your lungs, deep into the pit of your abdomen. Go all the way to the top, sip in a little more if you can. And then make any releasing sound, let it go. Last one. Drink up a full inhalation. Expand, expand, fill it up to the top, just a little bit more. And sound it out. From here. Closing your lips, if you can just breathe through your nose. Begin to sustain your breath equally in and out, while gently narrowing the back of your throat. Let your mind settle on that gentle whispering sound you create through this breathing technique called Ujjayi Pranayama. Slowing your breath down and hearing it at balance. Separate your knees and keeping your knees as wide apart as your feet to start here. That's wider than hips distance. Begin to drop both knees to your right side. You might open your arms apart just to help stay grounded, and then lifting your knees, take a deep breath and drop both knees to your left. Take that a few more rounds, inhaling and exhaling. Slowly dropping your thighs side to side as you gently massage your lower back and warm up your hip joints. Once you've done an even amount on both sides, come back to center. Bend your right knee into your chest, taking hold of the back of your thigh or the front of your shin. Slide your left leg forward onto the ground and begin to circle your right foot at the ankle a few times. Inhale and exhale. Switch directions. Notice your two shoulders, your two hips evenly on the floor. Take a deep breath and straighten your right leg to the ground. Switch, hugging your left thigh or your shin. A few breaths here, circling your left foot at the ankle. And switch directions. Now we're going to take a slow, mindful vinyasa flow, connecting your movement to a slow, steady breath. Next, inhale, straighten your left leg on the floor and switch, catching your right thigh or shin. Exhale here, draw it in. Inhale, switch, catching your left thigh or shin. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, bicycle switch. Exhale, hug your right leg in. Inhale, bicycle switch. Exhale, hug it in. One more round. Inhale, bicycle switch. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, switch. Exhale, bring it in. From here, bending your knees both towards you. Bring the soles of your feet together, holding onto your feet as if you're holding onto a book that you're opening up. So you begin to see the soles of your feet. Now, if this causes you to round your shoulders off the floor, you may want to grab your strap or something like it and loop it around the outer side of your feet so that it becomes an extension of your arms and your shoulders can remain on the ground. But continue to open up the soles of your feet so that you can see them. Let the outer edges, the pinky toe sides of your feet connect. And then begin to splay your thighs apart and let your pelvis become heavier on the ground. Feel both shoulders on the ground. Take a deep breath and slightly tuck your chin towards your chest. Feel length growing throughout your spine. About 3 more breaths here. You may even add a gentle swiveling of your pelvis side to side. Letting your thighs splay as you connect the outer edges of your feet. Let's take 1 more full breath. And from here, take hold of your outer thighs with your hands and close them together. Put the strap aside if you're using it. And then grab your pillow, a long pillow that you could hug as a spacer between your thighs and your ankles. Then you may want to use 2 blocks. 1 between your ankles and 1 between your thighs, so that the width or the space between your legs is about the space between your hips. Then scoot your pelvis towards the right edge of your mat. Open your arms wide. Lift your feet off the ground as you hug the pillow or blocks. And then as you ground your right shoulder, begin to drop your legs over to the left into a spinal twist. Now, if you don't want to go too deeply into the twist or your right shoulder begins to rise away from the floor, grab another pillow or set of props and place them under your left outer leg so that you're resting on them for support. And we'll be here for just about 5 more deep breaths. We're not holding these initial postures very long, but do focus on complete breaths. Fully expanding your lungs and gently expanding your belly too. And then feel how your belly hollows and softly drops closer to your spine when you breathe out. Take another deep breath here. And as you exhale, lift your knees, come back to center. You might need to step your feet on the floor here as you now scoot your pelvis closer to the left edge of your mat, past the midline. Grounding your left shoulder, lift your feet. And if you know that you're going to need props to catch the outside of your legs, place them just to the outside of your right side. And then begin to drop your thighs to the right. Deep breath in. Complete breath out. Let's stay for about 5 more consciously deep breaths. One more full inhalation. As you exhale, roll over to your right side this time. So let your arms meet your legs. Then taking your time, press the ground away to slowly lift your torso upright so that you can come to sit. Now, as you come to sit, any way that's comfortable for you to be grounded through both sitting bones and to feel uplifted in your heart space and your spine. Press your hands down onto your thighs and root through your sitting bones. Lift up through your sternum, but relax your shoulders down and begin to circle your spine to one side and forward, taking a deep breath in, to the other side and back as you breathe out. Try that a few more times, inhaling and exhaling. On your next inhale, switch directions. And then coming back to center, raise your arms overhead and interlace your fingers to flip your palms inside out. Press the heels of your palms towards the sky while softening your shoulders down. Broaden your chest and notice if your front ribs are beginning to pop forward more, like mine. So seal the bottom of your front ribs towards your back body and melt them towards your pubic bone as you continue to lift the heels of your palms. Let your pelvis feel heavy on both sides, and then begin to side bend to your left as I mirror you. Pause as you inhale, reground both sitting bones, especially the right, and lift your spine from your pelvis. Then see if you might be able to balance side bending a little more. Just about 2 more breaths here. Be mindful of maintaining space throughout the sides of your neck. At the bottom of your next out breath, draw your lower belly in to help you rise back to center. Switch the interlacing of your thumb and index finger on top, and again press the heels of your palms up. Then slide your shoulder blades down your back. Press your 2 sitting bones down and lift up through each vertebra, through your crown. Take a deep breath in, get a little bit taller. And as you exhale, begin to side bend to your right, hugging in your front ribs. Inhale, pause, reground both sitting bones, and lengthen your spine from your pelvis. Exhale, if you can, continue to side bend, taking just a few more breaths. At the bottom of your next exhalation, draw in your lower belly and slowly rise up. Let's switch the cross of our legs if your legs are crossed. Inhale, raise your arms again. But this time, just at your waistline, begin to rotate your rib cage along the axis of your spine, facing your left side, and then lower your left hand behind you on the floor. Let your right hand either rest on your lap or press the back of your hand against your outer left thigh. Now relax your shoulders down, lift your sternum, middle of your chest, and lift through the back of your skull so that you feel the crown of your head aligns just above your tailbone within the curvature of your spine. Take a deep breath. Keep your sitting bones grounded, and as you exhale, see if you might be able to twist a little more. Notice how it might feel to turn your head and look over your left shoulder while continuing to slide your shoulder blades down your back. Let's stay another 3 deep breaths. As you exhale next, unwind your spine and relax back to center. Then inhale, raise your arms. At your waistline, exhale, twist to the right. Lower your right hand to the floor behind your pelvis. Lower your left hand either onto your lap or press the back of your hand against your outer right thigh. Sit up a little taller by pressing into the ground or the surface you're sitting on. As you exhale, see if you might be able to twist some more, keeping your pelvis still. Notice the location of the top of your head in relation to your tailbone. Find that vertical center line. And with your shoulders still relaxing downward, perhaps turn your gaze past your right shoulder. Go into 3 more full cycles of breath. As you exhale, release back to center. So we're going to move just a little bit more before we hold some restorative postures for several minutes at a time. Let's come down to hands and knees. Clear off your mat. And as you set your knees down, place them a couple inches behind your hips. As you set your wrists down directly under your shoulders, spin out your hands to stretch the inner sides of your wrists and forearms. You might point your fingertips at the outer edges of your mat or perhaps even back towards your knees. Let's begin cat-cow slowly as you inhale to glide your spine forward before coiling your chest up, drawing your shoulders down. Now as you exhale, tuck your toes, contract your belly and round, drop your skull, and look between your knees. Release your toes and inhale, lengthen to a flat back before coiling chest up. Look towards the sky. Tuck your toes and exhale, contract your belly again. Dome your back. And try 2 to 3 more cycles of cat-cow at your pace of breath. Finishing the round you're on, relax on an exhalation to a neutral spine. And then bring your weight back to your legs. We're going to prepare to stretch the outer sides of your wrists and forearms. So make fists out of your hands. Gently press your fists against each other. Then lean the backs of your fists onto the ground. Spread your elbows off the floor. Begin to rock your weight forward slowly, paying attention to the sensations in your outer wrists and forearms. The more weight you shift forward, the deeper the sensation. So find just the right amount as you practice Ahimsa, non-harm. And there, let's take 3 more breaths, paying attention to your neck, allowing space, your shoulders, resting at ease, your jaw and the muscles in your face relaxed. Releasing from the posture, lean back into your legs and just circle out your hands, stretch out your fingers, both directions, maybe even shake out your arms and let them hang loose. Shake out your shoulders, and then let your shoulders relax again, back and down. Sit up tall and drop your chin towards your chest. Slowly circling your skull to one side as you breathe in. Take your time, exhaling halfway to the end of the circle. Take one more in this direction. And then switch direction, cycles. So if you are sitting on your shins and you feel discomfort in your knees, a few options are to fold a blanket, make it as thick as the amount of support you need, and bring that folded part of the blanket right against the backs of your knees. That can offer support. If you need a little more, use your block or stacked blocks in between your ankles. Make sure that your feet are not turned out, because as your knees are pointing forward, you want your toes to point back, keeping your knees safe. We're going to be here just a bit longer as we focus a little more on our shoulders and our upper back. So grab your strap and take hold of the strap in your right hand. I'm going to face you so that I can mirror you. Raise your right hand dangling the strap behind your back. Now, with the help of your left hand, bring your right bent elbow behind your skull, rotating your right outer upper arm slightly forward. Rest your right palm between your shoulder blades and reach underneath with your left hand behind you, catching the other end of the strap. Then walk your hands as close together as you can, maybe even clasping your fingers if that's available. Root down to your sitting bones. Focus on restacking each vertebra of your spine from the bottom up. Find the natural lift of your chin away from your chest as you glide your chin towards the back of your throat. Lift through the back of your skull. Just relax your face. Feel the deep cycles of your breath, broadening your chest. As you release your shoulder heads down, perhaps even begin to tilt your head back, leaning gently against your right forearm, while softening your front bottom ribs inward and down towards your pubic bone. Let's take another 3 cycles of breath here. Feel your right elbow pointing upwards towards the sky. Deep breath in. And exhale, release your arms. We're going to take a counter stretch before we switch. So bend your elbows apart, cross your right elbow over the left, and either hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms into eagle arms. Slide your shoulders down, lift your crown, and then align your elbows to the height of your shoulders. Gently press your forearms forward away from your face, feeling your shoulder blades protract or spread apart. And now take a deep breath into the area right between your shoulder blades. Feel the backs of your lungs gently press into the back wall of your ribcage. Exhale to your mouth any sound you like and try to soften that area, your mid upper back. Again, breathe into right between your shoulder blades. Feel it expand. Open your mouth, sigh it out, and soften the area. Ha. 2 more breaths like that. Then splay your arms apart. Softly shake your head no and feel your neck unwind. All right, let's take the strap in your left hand. Raise your left arm. Let the strap hang behind your back. And with the help of your right hand, bend your left elbow behind your skull, close to your center line as possible. Rotate your left outer upper arm forward. Reach underneath with your right hand and grab the other end of the strap. Walk your hands as close together as you can. Maybe they clasp. Then come back to your posture. Root down to your pelvis. Visualize your spine from bottom up and take a deep breath in as you restack each vertebra, allowing more space between. Exhale. Still aware of your balanced breathing. Feel the natural space between your chin and your chest. And as you softly glide your chin like a drawer closing back towards the back of your throat, and then lift up through the back of your skull. Soften your eyebrows, relax your eyes, maybe a little smile, and then let your 2 shoulder blades melt further down your back ribs. Feel the bottom of your front ribs melt in towards your spine, down towards your pubic bone. Last 3 breaths. Maybe start to lean your skull gently against your left forearm and find a little back bend as you lift your chest. Still soften in your front ribs. Extend your elbows apart for a counter posture. Cross your left elbow over the right and either hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms, eagle arms. Draw your shoulder heads down as you sit tall. Then lift your elbows to the height of your shoulders. Gently press your forearms away from your face. Feel your upper back broaden. Now zoom in your mind's eye, to the area behind your heart center, right between your shoulder blades. Take a slow inhale there, as though you could massage it with your breath. Open up space. And as you exhale a sound, consciously relax that area. Again, into the center of your upper back, deep breath, open it up. Deep release, open your mouth, soften your upper back. 2 more breaths like that. Maybe even flutter your lips. Help to release your jaw, any clenching or grinding. And then undo your arms. And this time, nod your head yes. Chin down, chin up. Slowly. All right, let's come on down to our bellies. Coming into Sphinx pose. Set your elbows on the floor, just about an inch in front of each shoulder. See arms parallel as your palms face down. Feel your ankles, separate them your hips distance apart. And as your palms firmly rooted, draw your shoulder heads back, press your shoulders down. Right beneath your shoulder blades, feel a lift of your chest. And so your shoulder blades were 2 hands helping to lift your heart from behind. Now, without straining your neck, you might even check in that your neck is not tensing here by softly shaking your head. Deep breaths. Let your legs actively lengthen towards the rear of your mat as you feel every toenail pressing against the floor. Feel a stretch of your abdomen, a lift of your heart center. Last 2 breaths. And from here, in your chest, place your fingertips alongside your shoulders and outside. Elbows are bent out 90 degrees. And then rotate one shoulder back, looking behind it. Come back to center. Rotate the other shoulder back and look behind it. Come back to center. Switch. Breathe in. Switch. Breathe out. Continue on like this, or more organic movement of just letting your shoulder blades circle onto your upper back, creating flow and releasing any stagnant energy you might carry in your neck, shoulders, or upper back. Let's take about 5 more breaths and moving it out here. Let your skull move if it wants to. And when you're ready, come on down. We're gonna open up the right arm, give our inner shoulder a little more opening. And if you'd like to rest your head onto something, you can put a block just to the right side of your skull here. Set your left fingertips on the right arm is wide, side palm, and then begin to roll over onto your right shoulder, resting the right side of your skull against the block.
Now take a moment to scoot your right shoulder away from your neck. And then see if this is plenty of sensation for now, or if you want to go a little further, lean more weight back so that you stack your feet. Or step your left foot behind you, going a little bit deeper into the sensation. Remembering that deeper is not always better, but it's a feeling of balance. There's stability and groundedness, as well as extension and openness. Breathe in. Breathe out.
Perhaps you explore your left arm reaching back to meet the right hand. Knowing that if you've explored something and your body says, nope, not that, you can always come back to something else. Now find a position you can hold for the next 5 deep breaths, and really pay attention to any shift you feel within those 5 deep breaths. As you finish your exhalation, gently unwind back onto your stomach.
Your time in this transition. As you come back to center, if you used a block for your head, shift it over to just to the left side of your skull. Plant your right fingertips on the ground beside your right shoulder and slide your left arm open with a palm face down. Begin to roll slowly onto your left side, pausing to send your left shoulder further down your back. As the left side lands on your prop, if you're using one, perhaps you roll further back. Notice how this side of your shoulders may need a different amount of weight, a different amount of intensity. As you honor that, listening to your body with loving kindness. As we observe any layers of tension our body has been carrying, notice how much of that tension perhaps might be from some kind of fear. As we talked about fear in the beginning of practice today, it's something that can inhibit the flow of love and even be a source of harm and violence, the opposite of that. So in observing any held tension in our bodies and trying to understand its roots, you can use the interconnection of mind and body to allow energy to flow and not be stuck or stagnant, to allow the energy of love to flow and not be inhibited by fear. Let's take 3 last breaths. As you breathe out, gently roll onto your belly again. Right into child's pose. If you like, you can take your block to rest your forehead on as you land your pelvis down to your feet. Placing your arms wherever you like here as we just rest for about 5 breaths in child's pose. And from child's pose, slowly walk your hands back towards the outsides of your knees. Roll your spine upright. And we're going to come into another spinal twist, a little bit more for the mid upper back. So come on to hands and knees to prepare for thread the needle. Set your knees slightly behind your hips as your wrists land beneath your shoulders. And as you breathe in, raise your left arm towards the sky and open your chest. As you breathe out, slide your left arm beneath your right bent elbow and rest the left side of your head on the floor or on a pillow or block. As you square your hips or balance them in height, try not to turn your pelvis here, but instead let your rib cage rotate. Allowing the twist to deepen across your waistline. Feel the broadening across your upper back as you soften your shoulders down your back. Now let's take another 5 deep breaths. As you flare your right elbow off the floor, notice how it allows you more stability as you press down with your right hand. At the end of your next exhale, gently press the ground away to rise back to all fours. Let's switch sides. As you breathe in, raise your right arm towards the sky, open your chest. Breathing out, thread your right arm beneath your left bent elbow, resting the right side of your head all the way down on the ground or on a prop. Flare your left elbow off the floor. Feel the stability through your left hand. Then level the height of your 2 hips as you allow your rib cage to gently turn. Breathe in. Breathe out. Another 5 deep breaths here. Bottom of your exhale, gently press back, up, and let's come to sit. We're gonna find our pillow, maybe our blanket, maybe several pillows. We're gonna straddle the legs apart. Happy your hips some more. This one's gonna be for 3 minutes, so make sure that you are comfortably situated. So if your legs are open and your back begins to round, it's difficult to feel a lift of your spine, then take your blanket and fold it the thickness that you need so that you can elevate your pelvis. Sitting towards the front edge of that blanket, so your pelvis just slightly tilts forward. And then gently flex your feet, ground your sitting bones, maybe even make C's, the letter C, out of your hands and cup the very tops of your thighs to help rotate your inner thighs back. So you want to keep your knees pointing up as we hold this posture, not pointing forward. Sitting bones stay grounded. And then now take your blocks and we're going to create a little ramp. So 1 block, tallest height away from you, 2nd block, medium height towards you. And then grab your pillow or bolster, maybe several pillows.
and lay them on the blocks. So you want the pillow right up against your pelvis or your lower abdomen. And then now you might even want a blanket, perhaps for your forehead, so that your nose has some space to breathe, like a massage table. Want this to be very comfortable here. And then you'll want to lift your belly onto that pillow, drape your torso on top, and then let your forehead rest with some room for your nose. And then once here, feel it out for a moment, because we are going to be here for a while in stillness. Make sure that the pillow is at the height that you need. If you need to go further down, then you could adjust the height of the blocks beneath, maybe one step lower each. And then make sure your shoulders relax. You have natural space in your neck. Oh, you can breathe well. Feel your feet gently flex as your sitting bones ground and your knees face the sky. Take a deep breath in, fill up the lower back. Open your mouth, make a sound, let it go. Again, deep inhale into your back body and down into your pelvis. Fill it up. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Ha. Once more. Deep breath in. Fill up your belly, now into your legs, then up your spine, your back body. And sigh it out. So from here, let go of controlling your breathing. Just let your breath be natural. I'm setting the clock for 3 minutes. Let your body feel completely supported. You can even relax your feet as long as your knees stay pointing up. And with each natural breath out, allow a sense of receiving gravity, being in harmony with it, feeling grounded through gravity. So as you feel your body naturally breathing, taking your time, no rush, continue to nurture this feeling of inner stillness as you begin to move the body.
Press your hands down into the floor and slowly roll your spine upright.
So take either your pillow or one of your blocks, maybe 2 blocks. We're gonna elevate our sacrum as we lie on our back so that we can lift our legs up. Now, if you have a wall nearby, or if you have a chair or a couch that you'd also like to rest the backs of your legs against, or bend your knees and set your calves on top of, you can scoot up against that. Otherwise, I'm just gonna do it here in the open floor. So if you are using a pillow, it's a good idea to make sure it's a firm pillow, not too soft, so it has a stable feeling of support. So we'll come to lie on our backs, then take your pillow or 1 or 2 blocks stacked, and lifting your pelvis as you press your feet down, place that prop just beneath your sacrum and just feel it out. You might have to shift a little side to side, especially test out when you lift your legs. You might need to scoot the pillow or block a little higher up towards your rib cage, just to feel more stability as you lift your legs up. And then once you have found that place of stability, your feet are up in the air, know that you can bend your knees if needed, so it doesn't feel rigid or tightening anywhere. Soften your toes, soften your feet, let your ankles relax. And you might even like to place your palms to rest gently on your belly. Feel that sense of groundedness and reassurance of your own palms. Feel that your shoulders are relaxed, in touch with the ground beneath. Notice your neck, perhaps softly move your head, and then find neutral in your neck. Feel what's supporting your body literally right beneath it. And can you feel harmony with that support, connection? Maybe even a sense of gratitude for that support that's offering your body comfort. Notice that your breath is now naturally flowing in and out. I'm just going to set the timer here for 1 last minute in this restorative inversion. Giving our circulation or our blood flow a boost. Letting our digestive organs receive blood flow in a different way. Relieving our legs and feet of all they're doing throughout the day. Because even sitting for long periods of time can take a toll on our legs, or lower back and hips. So allow this posture to be perhaps a sense of saying thank you to our bodies for all that we've asked of them. So now softly bend one knee to land one foot on the ground, and the other knee and both feet are on the floor. Whether you want to turn over to one side or lift your pelvis up, remove the prop that's underneath, and let's get ready for a restful corpse pose, Shavasana. So if you'd like some support for your lower back, you might place a pillow across your mat beneath the backs of your knees. Splaying your feet wider than hips distance. And take a moment to maybe even shake out your legs and let them get a little bit looser down to your feet and ankles. And as you're setting up your pelvis, you might take your two thumbs, trace along the left and right side of your spine from your mid-back down to your glutes, encouraging the flesh of your glutes to release down towards the backs of your knees, finding a little more space in your lower back. And then walk each shoulder blade down your back ribs. Press the backs of your shoulders against the earth and let your palms turn to face up in a gesture of openness and receptivity. Placing your arms slightly away from your sides, rest your fingertips. Feel your jaw as you consciously relax it, soften your tongue. Feel the length and natural space within your neck as you let your skull just be heavy. Notice your eyes as you close them, gently sinking the eyeballs into their sockets. As though it's like throwing a pebble into a pond. Imagine a rippling concentric circles from just around your eyeballs, rippling out to wider circles. A feeling of softening, feeling of surrender and reassurance, feeling of love and welcoming as you accept stillness, you accept the gift of rest for the next few minutes here. As your body remains still, know that you have the option to stay lying down, even if you're staying for our 5 minutes of meditation. But if you prefer to sit upright, And let your body move gently towards coming up to sit. Let your physical posture that you've chosen reflect the qualities of serenity and paying attention. Again, those 3 questions we began our practice with. Integrating Ahimsa as we watch your thoughts. What fears might you have that limit love to freely flow through you? And how can you be kind and compassionate to yourself in observing these fears? Lastly, with any fears you may have, what is the opposite of those fear-based beliefs that can guide you back to love? Let's begin our 5 minutes. attention expand from your breath to your body, to the space around your body. As you gently move your fingers and let your palms come together in front of your heart. And so our practice of yoga begins. How do we integrate it into our daily lives? This practice of nonviolence. Let's close with one chant of Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.